Peace Queen. It's Melissa Crawford of thequeencode.com, and the video today is part 3 in the Queen Ascension series. So if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I do encourage you later to watch those parts as well. But this video series, Queen Ascension, is all about queens rising. It's about really stepping up to who we're called to be. And so, I'm doing this series because right now there's a great shift happening. Actually, it's more than just a shift. You know how sometimes you say, I want to go to the next level, I want to go to the next dimension. Well, right now as a planet, we are literally moving into a new dimension. And a dimension is really like a whole new world. And so in this series, I want to address some of the, as you're moving to the next level, there may be some confusion and some growing pains. And so I want to address those things and really give you some guidance and some clarity so that you can make a clear decision about where you want to be. Okay? Maybe you don't understand what's going on with you right now or how to navigate this path. And that's what I want to give you some guidance on, okay? So it's about really showing you a clear distinction between what I call the 3D queen or the third dimension queen, or the 4D queen, the fourth dimension queen. And in part 1 of this series, I went into great detail about what that meant. But just to do a quick recap, right now we are in what we would call the third dimension as a planet. Now the third dimension carries with it a very individualistic energy. It's that solar plexus energy, that fire, that power, that go get it, that move forward. It's very masculine in nature. And we've been as a planet in the third dimension for about 2,000 to 3,000 years. And we've actually achieved a lot of things in the third dimension. Great inventions, great innovations, great technologies. But the downside to the third dimension is that because it's so individualistic in nature, we've begun to see ourselves as separate. And even though, you may have a really good relationship with Source, with God, there's still like a disconnect there with that inner spirituality. And as a result, there's been a lot of fear on this planet. And with fear comes lack and limitation. There's been a lot of conflict and aggressiveness in the third dimension. And with all of that, it's really been a space like hell on earth. With all the fear and all the conflict and all the lack and all the strife, it's really been like hell on earth. But as a planet right now, we're actually up-leveling to the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is really that space of heart. And with heart comes greater peace and fulfillment and this desire for really wanting to know why you're here, wanting to know your purpose. With heart, it's more of an expansive energy. So we're really coming back to that great truth that all things are possible. There is no lack. There is no limitation. There is no fear, only possibility, right? And so the fourth dimension is very feminine in nature. It's one of the reasons why you see a lot of queens right now rising, because as women, we particularly embody more of the feminine energy, right? But this is not just about leaving behind everything that we've learned that was good in the third dimension. In this new age, we're actually supposed to integrate the two. So there's some things from the third dimension that we'll keep as we're rising and going to the next level, the fourth dimension. And so what I want to do though in this series is give you a clear distinction between the 3D versus the 4D queen, so you can successfully cross over, because even though we're supposed to take some of the great things that we've learned, we are supposed to cross over. We can no longer have one foot in and one foot out. We have to make the transition, okay? And so that's what the series is about. So here's part 3. Part 3 is the 3D queen is a woman who is very much into kind of like a competitive mode. With her, it's really about competition. Whenever she meets someone that, maybe they're doing something as well as her, maybe better than her, Sometimes she'll easily snap into competition mode. And again, that comes with the third dimension energy, because the 3D energy is individualistic. So it's me against you. And so she typically tends to see things, especially with other women, as like a competitive, like a competition type thing. And therefore, she's kind of standoffish. Maybe she's the kind of woman that doesn't have a lot of female friends. And she looks at it again as a competition, as almost like a conflict. Whereas the 4D queen is a woman that believes in cooperation. She understands who she is as an individual, but she also understands that everyone has a unique part to play in the whole. She understands that we're all one. And she understands that in order to successfully complete her mission, she's going to need the help of other people. And she's also going to need to join forces with other queens, with other like-minded individuals. And so she doesn't believe in competition because, again, we're all unique, so how can there really be any competition? She believes in cooperation. And as a result, she rises. She's not afraid to ask for help when she needs it. She doesn't think it's weak to ask for help. As a matter of fact, she's more empowered because she knows that she cannot become herself by herself. And so she believes in integration. She believes in cooperation. All right. So the 3D queen, competition, 4D queen, all about cooperation. And the 4D queen also values her female friendships. She has that golden circle of soul sisters. She leans on that. The 3D queen probably doesn't have hardly any female friends because maybe she's been burnt in the past and she's learned to kind of shut down and be very individualistic. But queen, if that's you, again, I want to tell you, in order to make the transition, you have to upgrade to opening your heart again, right? 4D, opening your heart again. And knowing that we attract what we are. So if you've been attracting some female friends that haven't treated you fairly, then begin to look at how you're being a friend. And not only that, if you really want those genuine female friendships, begin to go places where you know that there are women who are thinking on a higher level and begin to create those friendships. You know, as queens, especially in this age, as we're all returning to our thrones, and even once you're on the throne, as we're going higher and higher, we really need each other. We need each other like never before. We have to get back to that mode of becoming your sister's keeper. Because even though we have, like even in the Queen Code community, we have kings that support us. And I love that. But we really have to support each other. Sometimes we're harder on each other than anyone else. So we have to get back to that I am my sister's keeper. Because if we don't love each other, then how can we really, rise together and really shift things like we're supposed to? So that's the message for today. 3D queen, competition. 4D queen, cooperation. You choose. I know for myself, I have some wonderful female friends. And I always get help, and I always have a great group of people around me. That's what makes my messaging and everything that I'm doing, it makes it so strong, because I'm getting great input and feedback from people who really care about me moving to the next level, okay? So that's the message for today. And in the meantime, if you're wondering, okay, Melisi, I hear you, but where do I find these women? Well, here's the thing, within the Queen Code, I have recently created a space. I have the space on Facebook at the Queen Code, but I've recently created a space for women to really join what I call the sisterhood. I've recently opened the doors to the Royal Academy for Rising Queens. And it's really a virtual school for women who are emerging. It's breakthrough training for women who are emerging and going to the next level. And right now there are so many women joining this program, and we're going to have monthly calls, but it's on these calls, it's by participating in things like this that you will begin to find your golden circle of soul sisters. Women just like yourself all across the planet, maybe different colors, races, religions, nationalities, creeds, it doesn't matter. We all have that same desire to really live our truth and shine our light. So if you're looking for a place to find some more of your soul sisters, some more of your sister queens, then I invite you to join the sisterhood of the Royal Academy for Rising Queens. And all you simply have to do to get more details is go to www.readytoreign.com/royal. Okay, ROYAL. Now that URL is either above me or below me, depending on where you see this video. But this is a wonderful place for you to begin to build that structure that you need, that's so important as you begin to rise and ascend to the throne. So that's the video. Again, if you want to sign up for the Royal Academy, go to www.readytoreign.com/royal, and I'll talk to you soon.